Still going. Stay away after stay away. I have to figure out what a yellow bullet means. Its value. But what? There has to be no hint. There has to be something down here.
Hello, welcome to the Norway game. Now, will you be allying or will you be betraying? Hello everyone, welcome to Zero's Escape Vulture's Last Reward. And just to point out, it's Volume 2, because 9 Hours, 9 Persons, and 9 Doors was retitled Zero's Escape Volume 1 as new cover art. So I have an original. Ha! Good thing for cushions, I would never, ever toss you to bricks. Okay. So, in case you're not aware, Vulture's Last Reward is a sequel to 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors on the original DS. It stars a supposed new cast, but if you would read, it says old friends from 999 return to join the new cast. There are not only simply the two characters in the cast, Alice and Clover, recalling from 999, but there are a few surprises later in the story, and this will not be spoiling a lot of story. We will only talk about beginning stuff. So, yeah, sorry, I'm having a wire-related issue. Okay. So anyway.
Okay. Let's see. Got this here. Some kind of remote. A guitar. A hole in it. Let's see if I perhaps the remote connects. And the cover must be for the remote. And it seems to be slightly stuck. Come on. Time for the shit. Now. Fit in. Why won't you fit now? Solved it. Okay. So going on screen, it says I need to use the green, red, yellow. Seems to be an emulation of a guitar. Okay, here we go. Green, red, yellow, green, red, green, green, red, white. Wait a minute. There's no white. What the fuck? This is sadistic. This is fucking sadistic. How could you do this to a human being? Let's see. So I gotta find out what the value of white is. There's only orange, blue, yellow, red, and green. How the hell do I make white?
Oh, okay. Anyway, to continue on, if we would. Basically, continuing the same tradition, it is a adventure-ish, first-person-ish, point-and-click novel game. And just like the original 999, this is very story-heavy. Okay, it's very story-heavy, and if you don't like immense amounts of text, then, well, that's going to be a problem, won't it? But hey, the new voice work for the game might help you there. There's now English and Japanese voice actors for almost most of the dialogue. Almost all the dialogue, really. So, if reading's not your thing, you can always tune in with your ears. Unless, you seem to have a problem there, then, well, I guess reading wouldn't be a problem, then. Anyway. Changes. There are lots of changes, and yet there's lots of familiarity with the original. Of course, the familiarities would be the same ideal, that you're getting trapped in rooms, solving puzzles, and trying to discover a fucked up storyline while trying to escape through the number 9 door. But the Norway game has changed a lot. Kind of simplified a little more than the original, you could say. Instead, there's a very simple concept of people going through colored doors based off a pairing system or solo system of coloring of your watches. But now, instead of simply finding the number 9 door and creating a mathematical problem to enter numbered doors, instead, the objective is a point. 9 points to be precise, or more. You can have 9 or more to get through the number 9 door. And they will only open once. So, how do you get these magical new points so you can escape? Well, that's the Ambidex game. That is the new addition to the game. The new addition to the game is the Ambidex game. After every round of the puzzle rooms, you would go in and, do the usual browsing, poking everything humanly imaginable, whipping your hair out before you could figure out how to fuck the dice. Okay. But anyway, sure. Anyway, after each round, you will enter a voting booth. The person you had to go in the same room with is now in the other poll with you. Now, you have 2 choices. 2 delightful choices. You ever heard of the prisoner dilemma? It's a very interesting concept. It's basically a thought process of being thought as an individual or group. Ally or betray. If you ally and they betray, they get 3 points and you get minus 2 points. Both ally, both 2 points. Both betray, nothing. A dilemma indeed, isn't it? Can you truly trust the other person? Or will you have to defend? Now think about the concept of the game as a human being in their shoes, and you can truly see the true insanity of this game. A very delightfully horrifying game. Truly horrifying. But anyway, in a very simple concept, to also, again, to 999, or actually outright the exact same thing, if you remember, and probably at this point I should mention, that I will not really be big on withholding spoilerish things related to this game. Now, connections, new things from this game connecting to this game, I won't spoil. But I mean, if it's in this game, I'm not gonna, withhold that exactly. So, anyway, at the end of 999, she basically realized that everything that was happening and all these alternate paths and everything were actually happening in other realities. This concept is for the continued in this game. But unlike the subtlety of 9999, where you basically didn't really realize that so simply, Last Virtue does not really hide that very simply. It's pretty easy to figure out really quick the same concepts happening. Or maybe that could be just because, maybe I was expecting it for some reason. But, no, I think it's pretty obvious that the game is very open, especially much in the middle range and further beyond is very open about that concept. But it's pretty easy to realize early on that the same thing is happening again, and that the main character is again having his conscience going through different realities. Now, the flowchart, which you automatically start with at the beginning, so for you people who go, it's right there in the beginning anyway. It's in the booklet. It's in the booklet. The game always tells you about it. The flowchart is something new. If you remember in 999, you had to replay all the trap rooms and everything. And there's a few nice design choices that were made in Virtue's Last Reward to make that a much simpler process. First, the flowchart will allow you to automatically go to any beginning point of any real decisions and sword novel sections. 2. Puzzle rooms. If you redo a puzzle room, now, when you start a game, and this is what I understand, it might be slightly still a little wrong, but to my understanding, the safe passwords are created when you start a new game. Once you figure out the safe password, and if you ever go back to that puzzle room again, you can use that same puzzle password to unlock the safe without solving any of the puzzles to figure out the safe code. Much quicker than, like when we played a lot of some of the math puzzles. It's like, wow, why didn't I write this down? But anyway, now here's some new, more interesting concepts to the puzzle rooms. There's now an easy and hard mode, which didn't exist in 999. And you don't simply do that for more challenge. There's actually a reward. A reward for doing the harder puzzles in the hard mode. Basically, here's a simple case. Every single room has 2 passcodes for your safe. One is for escaping, and one's for a golden fowl. But you can only get the golden fowl if you figure out the secondary puzzle for that safe code in hard mode. If you figure it out in easy mode, you get a silver fowl, which I've never gotten, so I'm not quite sure. I'm assuming that only gives you a few fowls of the gold fowl, I would assume, but not the full fowl, or something like that, probably. But I've never gotten silver fowl, so I don't know exactly what's in that package. But I'd recommend going on hard mode. But, or you can cheat and, save easy, figure it out, and revert back. What? It's a time-traveling game. You can't tell me you can't do that. Now we got some new things up. I have 2 complaints out of the game, and I still got more stuff to talk about. But I do want to point out 2 complaints for the full game. First, well, actually, a minor and 2 complaints. The minor is, ironically, the flowchart. Now, this was a beginning oppression problem, but in the end, it didn't bother me anymore. When I first started the game, I was kinda annoyed by the flowchart, because it had, you could see this chart of paths in that. So, your brain's thinking, well, the true path must be that longest one, so let's go for it. Well, this flowchart, you're not seeing the full chart, so you're not seeing the entire game's layout. So there's still many, many more paths. So that was a very minor beginning annoyance. But aside from that, but that's just a small thing, a small teeny little note. Anyway, so my 2 little problems with the game. Well, actually, I could state another minor. Actually, there were a few text-related issues, which Axis Games seems to have sometimes in a few of their games. I know some sometimes in the Record of August War series, but there was a few instances where the text kind of went beyond the boundaries of the boxes. But that didn't really bother me. That's very minor, and I would hope that would never, ever make anyone decide to not buy this game at all. If it does, I'll kill you. No, not really. I don't need to. He will kill you. Okay. Anyway, if I can stop delaying here. So, what were the minor, the things that I feel were... First, skip button. Anyone who played 999 would know there was a skip button for skipping through dialogue you have already done. This still exists in Vulture's Last Reward, but they also added an auto button, which, if you're familiar with the Records of August War series, the auto basically, it plays out in a normal reading, and the dialogue happens, the voice acting happens, and then it will automatically go to the next dialogue without you touching or hitting any buttons or anything. Now, the problem I have with the skip button is you have to toggle through stop, auto, and skip. And stop is where you have to acknowledge the text to go forward. Now, I really would prefer if either all three buttons were separate buttons on the touchscreens, or if possibly maybe just put auto somewhere else or something, because I found it very annoying to go trying to get to skip, because admittedly, there's a lot of dialogue in this game, and there's a lot of different paths and stuff, and sometimes there are repeated dialogue that the game doesn't acknowledge as always read, because, say, like, one of the instances where you go through 3 different rooms to interact with characters or that, a lot of that dialogue's the same, but for some reason it doesn't acknowledge that most of it has already been read or seen before, so... And the reason that's annoying is I have to trying to go through auto to find out whether skip is available or not, and if it's like a small line or something, it might just skip that little line real quick. But that's more of a minor little thing. So what is the bigger issue? The bigger issue is the game ends. I'm not talking about the ending, but it's a cliffhanger. It's a cliffhanger. And though it's already been announced the sequel is being made and everything, which I'm sure it will be, because we already got 1 sequel, so I don't see why not. We wouldn't go to another fantastic, insane sequel. But I really find the fact that it just cliffhangs, and you could consider 999 cliffhanged in a way, but you know, that story was mostly done and just left a strange element that never fully explained as a cliffhanger. We're talking about really the main concept of the fucking story being left as a cliffhanger. And that is a piss off for me, to be honest, because I just don't like cliffhangs very much. I really don't. They're just really annoying in a lot of ways, but that's just a small pet peeves of that. So overall, there's still more things to talk about. The graphics have been upgraded. Now, we're not talking about boom HD crap and oh my eyes are bleeding out of it, but they have been upgraded. While it still will use occasionally in certain scenes, still a lot of 2D imagery, like when they show the watches in a few different positions and such. There are now new 3D models that now move and breathe and interact and show you their actions, and you know, it's like that gives a little more life to the cast. And you know, speaking of which, we haven't really talked about much of the cast. We have such a delightful 9 cast people here. Now, I'm not going to go into too much details about the characters, because that would be ruining a bit of them. But overall, you got Luna, Cork, Dio, Phi, Sigma, who's the main character there in the middle with the black hair and blue suit. Tinge... I can't say his name very well, it's a Japanese name. I just call him Tingy. Alice, Clover, and Kay. All these characters are very mysterious, and they have very annoying traits. Luna's very nice. Cork is a kid. Dio is very bizarre jackass. Phi awakens in the same room as Sigma, and she's like the heroine of the story, while obviously Sigma is the hero of the story. Tinjin is kind of a stereotype old man. Alice was in the ending of 999, and Clover was one of the characters in 999. Kay is a guy in a suit of armor who can't remember anything. That's it. I got an axe. Get the fuck away. Okay, you know, I'll be honest. If you're automatically suspicious, Kay, you're a sucker. You know, if you played 999, that's a red herring. And that's also something to point out. There are red herrings in 999, but there are tons of red herrings in Vulture's Last Reward. Beware of those who love to calculate the story like I do, because you will be tricked a lot. There's a very vastly and fucked up story, which probably leads to one of the final points. You thought 999 had a fucked up ending? Wow. Just... I'm serious. If you haven't played 999 yet, go get it. I might spoil just a little bit about, but that's not even the cream of the crop. After all, I didn't tell you who Zero is. What? I didn't! I didn't! Okay. If you play 999 away, get Vulture's Last Reward. Get a 3DS, get a PSP Vita. Play the game. I bought 3DS for this game. This was a system sell, and I don't regret lobbing down $200 for a 3DS XL for Vulture's Last Reward. 36 hours of pure, mind-blowing fuckery that I enjoyed. What? I did! Shut up! But, overall, it's still a very big novel game with just some puzzles. Let's see. I can't remember right off the top of my head, but similar to 999, there ain't bazillions of puzzles. It's really the story that sells this game, and it's really a great story. It's really a shame that a lot of these really awesome graphic novel, visual novels don't get to come to America. And 999 just proved there is an audience in our country for these kind of games. And I hope Vulture's Last Reward and its third entry, Zero's Escape Volume 3, only continue to prove there is an audience for these games here. This is an awesome game. I loved it. I loved it. There were a few gripes, but I love it. It has so much upgrading in it. Probably one of my least things that I really wish they did in the game. I wanted to see more of Zero the Third, the Game Master. This rabbit who has you trapped here. He's a visual AI just fucking with you, telling you these rules and everything of the Norway game and the Ambidex game. He's like everywhere at the beginning, and then he just like drops off the face of the planet for the rest of the game at like the midway end point. And it's like, I really wanted to see more of him because of the repeating different pathways. You know, he basically has a lot of the same dialogue, so it's really underused because the person who did the voice acting for that was just awesome. It's just mind-blowing acting there, but all that voice acting's really good in my opinion. I hold a little of the Japanese acting, but I don't really watch a lot of Japanese anime with Japanese dub in that. Not really my thing, but sounds pretty good to me too, though. Anything else I've missed? Overall, oh, and also, you know, there's supposed to be 24 different endings. I call kind of bullshittery on that. Well, there were more than just the simple 9 endings, similar to 999, where there were 9 direct endings. But there were 9 endings, a true ending, and then there's a bunch of death and game over endings. So that's kind of take that how you will kind of thing. But it doesn't have a counter thing for 24, so kinda in the air there. Probably kind of threw it in to make it sound better. Over me, I'd say 10 endings personally, but that's just me. Overall, though, it's a great game. It's lovely. And it even gives you a Nintendo Club card code, and that's awesome. And I love the fact that they actually give us booklet. Too bad it's not in color, though. Well, the back is. I'm going to show you the back of the book, because it has a much nicer big picture of all the characters there than the back of the cover there. Very nice. And go ahead and show you that. Get a nice picture of fire that. But, it's very fun. It's good. I'm not sure if I have much else to add. You know, the Evidex game is truly fucked up and everything. It's a visual novel. I really enjoyed it. It's just, oh, I really wish I just could go into the story, because it's just so much, but I really don't want to spoil the story. It's the selling point of the game, and I feel it's such a criminal act to do that. And I'd like to end this apologizing to the people who actually wanted me to do a Let's Play of Vulture's Last Reward. Because I understand, and really, to be honest, that would be an awesome idea. But I would hate to do or undermine sales for this great and fantastical game by doing a Let's Play of the story. I have been considering doing a Let's Play of the puzzle rooms, though, which would, in one way, encourage people to get addicted to the story and encourage them to go seek out this game without spoiling the vast story. But that's just something I'm thinking about. In the end, if you got any questions or anything about the game, feel free to leave me a comment down there. Or if YouTube changes it in a year or two and it's somewhere else, maybe back... damn camera throwing everything the opposite way. Back there, or here, or there, or if it's everywhere. Or feel free to leave a comment if you want to. And I love feedback, of course. Always leave feedback. And I know several of my subscribers are also big 999 fans, and some of them have asked me about the game. So I look forward to hearing you. And personally, please don't leave spoilers in the comments. Please, please, please. It's the selling point of the game. It's the best point of the game. Now, if you excuse me, I gotta go and scare someone in the bathroom. What? Well, he's deathly afraid of the axe ending. I got an axe. What do you want? What do you want, little Lego man? Fine. It's time for me to make an update, but to lose. And I'm sorry if this was a really long video. I tried to throw some...
I survived. This sick little game. I survived. Vulture's Last Reward. I escaped. And I tell you, Zero, I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'll find you.